Hey folks, this isn't Rainiac again, it's Freezing Inferno, and welcome to another Doctor Who Series 8 review. I'm joined once again by Kat.
Hi.
Hi. So, no Rainiac this week. He's under the weather. I didn't usurp his position at all. No, of course not. And no
I
Kachiri
did.
either. Yeah, no, you didn't. No Kachiri either. He's I don't know where the hell Kachiri is, actually. He's somewhere. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
No?
Good. So, we're talking about Kill the Moon, and spoiler warning, this is your spoiler warning. There are spoilers. You have been warned. There you go.
If you don't know what's going on, get out.
Get the hell out. Alright. So, Kill the Moon was a very interesting episode, and one that's been rather divisive as far as I've seen with the Doctor Who fans. There are some people, like the AV Club, which is like a spin-off of The Onion. They really loved it. They gave it an A. Noted Doctor Who blogger Phil Sandifer loved it. And, well, there were other people who didn't like it.
Like me.
Like you. The Something Awful thread for Doctor Who. They mostly didn't like it when it first aired. Then we got a couple people who thought they really liked it, and then we had more people who didn't like it. It's really been back and forth. For my money, I'm one of the ones who liked it, but that's mostly on the merits of the back half, which was good enough for me that it elevated all the other stuff which we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I have to say I'm kind of the opposite way, where I liked it up until the back half started. And that's where it started going downhill for me.
I'm pretty sure what I think I know what you're going to talk about, but Rainiac has left me some notes since he's ill, so let's see here. He says about the beginning, the cold open, as it were, with Clara on the moon talking about making an impossible decision. Perhaps the most attention-grabbing pre-credit sequence to date. It establishes that Clara and Courtney, because Courtney Woods is back, much to your delight, I'm sure, they have an impossible decision to make, and it reveals that the Doctor is left for reasons we don't yet know. One of the shortest intro scenes ever, weighing in at only 45 seconds, but it's a good in medias res opening and makes you wonder what the heck's going to happen on the moon up here. And so, well, I don't really count it as much of the episode. It's just basically there to give you intrigue.
Well, it brings you in. It definitely made me want to watch the episode, despite the fact Courtney's in it.
Yes. So the episode starts up, I guess. I'm not really that much of a host. I don't know. I usually just talk about things we liked and things we didn't like. But let's just try and take this objectively with what happened in the episode. So, Clara walks into the TARDIS. She's talking to the Doctor about Courtney, and she complains that he said that she wasn't special.
Which, really, she's not to him. I mean,
yeah.
This is the guy who saw women take the entire time stream into their bodies. He knows what special is, trust me.
There's been some complaint about that. I think Kachiri mentioned it too at one point. I'm not sure if Kachiri's going to pop up at some point in this thing. I don't know that, but he mentioned there was a bit of an inconsistency between Capaldi saying, "Oh, she's not special," and the 11th Doctor in A Christmas Carol saying, "In 900 years of time and space, I've never met anyone who wasn't important."
Well, this leads to what I said beforehand in the previous episode, where it doesn't feel like the Doctor is always the Doctor. It feels like each individual person, the 11th, the 12th, so on and so forth, they're all their own individual people when they're supposed to be the same. And it feels like people keep forgetting that they're supposed to be the same person, just regenerating over and over again. And while, yes, he would have, the obvious personality and thought change, he's still supposed to be the same person. He's supposed to remember what he's done before.
He should, yeah. That's the thing. Continuity is a very tricky and delicate web to dance on. Web. I made an unintentional funny. I made an unintentional funny.
Ooh. It wasn't even funny.
No, it wasn't. But well, the Doctor and Clara, and much to your delight, Courtney Woods, go to the moon in the year 2049 so that Courtney can be the first woman on the moon and be special. I don't know. It's heavy-handed and all child-friendly. Oh, you're the specialist in the world. There's nobody like you.
I'm pretty sure by the time of 2049, if we take into account the idea that they're in 2014 beforehand, I'm pretty sure there's been other women on the moon. So
I don't know. I don't really know much about space travel, but yeah. But then again, this is the same show that said that the Cybermen invade planet Earth by bringing their home planet, which is Earth upside down, into orbit to ours in the year 1986. So take of that what you will.
yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Who did not the best at predicting the future, but we won't hold it against it for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hold it against it later, but not for now.
Not for now. So, then we meet our supporting cast. There's the captain, Lundvik,
I think.
Lundvik. They don't really ever say her name that much on screen. I just called her the captain. And her other guys. There's Duke.
Red Shirt 1 and Red Shirt 2.
Yeah. One of them is named Duke, because I only know that because Rainiac's notes mentioned that the guy who played Duke is Tony Osoba. Osaba? I don't know.
According to this, the other guy's name is Henry.
Thank you. Well,
possibly.
Apparently he's appeared in Doctor Who twice before, in Destiny of the Daleks and Dragonfire. And wow! That is a bad bum rap, because Destiny of the Daleks and Dragonfire are really mediocre.
Isn't Dragonfire the one where the 7th Doctor is having a literal cliffhanger?
It sure as hell is.
Jeez. I feel so sorry for him now.
Oh, Christ. Destiny of the Daleks is, for those involved, a Tom Baker serial. It's kind of late in his run. It's the first one of the season where Douglas Adams was script editor, and it's still not as good. I mean, it's got the first appearance of the second Romana, Lala Ward, and I like the second Romana, but you want to watch a good one serial from that season, watch City of Death or Creature in the Pit or something. We're getting a little off hand here. So we're on the moon with a space shuttle, and there's 100 nuclear weapons, and well, the first part of this episode is kind of creepy, huh?
Yeah, I have to say, it's really interesting to just watch the whole thing, and it's also really cool to see how the Doctor gets them out of a situation where they could be shot. Which, really, it makes no sense that they would be shot by the captain and her crew, because they're on a suicide mission anyways. So,
they don't even have guns.
Yeah, so what's like the whole point of threatening 3 people who are in there? One of them being a child.
You know, I don't know, but it's nice that the Doctor, instead of just pulling out a piece of psychic paper and going, "I'm from the Special Moon Bureau."
Well, no, we established beforehand that Courtney had actually taken his psychic paper and was using it for ID. So he didn't have it, unless Courtney had it on her.
But, yeah, so, okay. Courtney had a little purpose there, because she, instead of the Doctor waving it out with a psychic paper, he had to improvise. He had to bluff, like he did in the old days.
If only they could do that with the sonic screwdriver.
You know, their solution to that was to actually destroy it in the Fifth Doctor era.
Yeah, here's my question. Where's the sonic screwdriver been this whole time? I don't remember it being used that much.
He's played with it. Hell, he had it in this episode.
Yeah, I think he did. But it's actually nice because they're not using it as the end-all solution.
He does some things with it, but he's not like opening every lock ever with it. It's nice. So another bit of Rainiac's notes. Moffat told the writer, what's his name? Steve Harness?
Peter Harness.
Peter Harness. Steve. Okay, what? Peter Harness. Yeah, first time writer, incidentally. So he told him to hint, and I'm right. I'm quoting directly from the notes here with the swear and all. So look out, children. Hinchcliffe the shit out of the first half. Hinchcliffe being Philip Hinchcliffe, the showrunner in Tom Baker's early years, who was really inspired by horror movies. He made a lot of really creepy episodes, like The Ark in Space, which gets name-dropped here and there with a couple of references. The Yo-Yo, for instance, that's from The Ark in Space. And The Ark in Space is a really creepy episode, and so's this. The corpses littered about the place certainly make for an unnerving atmosphere. And goddamn, between that and the trailer, well, I really just expected some sort of creepy sort of thing like Alien or Apollo 18. You ever see that movie, Apollo 18?
I think I have. I don't remember.
It's like the Blair Witch Project on the Moon or Cloverfield, something like that, one of them found footage movies.
No, I'm thinking of a completely different Apollo 18 then.
Yeah, it's like a found footage horror movie on the moon. there's like rock aliens and shit. It's weird and doesn't really explain how the hell they got the footage back to Earth, but it's still pretty good. It's spooky, and so's the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, I think up until they get to the CGI spiders, it was actually pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Rainiac says here that the spider germs were underused. Yeah, they're not space spiders. They're space germs that look like spiders.
And for some reason have predator mouths.
Yeah, and Courtney kills one with a bottle of Windex. Or disinfectant or whatever the...
I think she still had that from where, according to Clara, she was trying to clean up the mess she made from throwing up in the TARDIS. So I think it was probably some sort of window cleaner.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So it wasn't even a good weapon. It was just something she had on hand.
She just panicked and spritzed the thing, and it worked. Any other monster...
She treated it just like the spider in the bathtub. Oh god, kill it! Spritz, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Get a paper towel and flush that little bugger down the toilet.
Bring in the giant cup!
God alive. Yeah, but we get our red shirts picked off by the spiders from Mars. Oh, no, wait, that's not right.
Giant spiders from Who Cares, because we never see them again after a certain point.
They're not from Metabolus 3, I'll give you that. I'm just on a ball with these classic Who references today.
I will say, though, the part where they find the second guy out in the, just, on the surface of the moon, and he's, like, completely stripped bare, it really reminded me of Silence in the Library.
Oh, yeah, the Vashta Narada.
Yeah, except, they weren't repeating everything.
Hey, Moffat repeating things. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, not at all.
What else is there in the first half before the episode sort of shifts?
Spider webs that shouldn't be there because these aren't actual spiders.
What is with that? I mean, it makes for a great image, first off. Well, I'm not really one to nitpick too much in Doctor Who because, well, really, we're going to have a pretty big nitpick once we get to the closing moments of this episode, I think.
Yeah.
If what I understand about your opinion of it is true. But
yes.
That was one that doesn't really make sense when you think about it. Okay, so you see the trailer, you see this thing, it looks like they're space spiders. Okay, so there's all sorts of cobwebs on this abandoned moon base. Okay, great. Except they're actually single-cell organism, giant space germs.
Who happen to look like spiders.
With predator mouths. So, why the webs? Other than they make a really spooky visual. Doesn't make much sense, but okay.
See, what I thought was that, we find out later, like the moon is actually a giant egg. Sorry for skipping ahead. I thought it was going to be a giant spider egg.
No, see, yeah,
that would have been cool.
Sure yeah.
Terrifying, because I hate spiders, but cool.
Oh. See, that's the weird thing about this episode. It keeps shifting, okay? So you watch it, the first part is Hinchcliffing the hell out of the whole thing. So you think, oh, okay, base under siege, they're going to get picked off, there's scary monsters under the moon, But then they talk about the whole moon is an egg thing, and it makes it sound like almost Lovecraftian horror. Like there's this cosmic monster under the moon that's been there this entire time. It's going to hatch and destroy the Earth.
Spoilers, it doesn't.
Oh, no, but we're meant to think it will. But yeah, so you're still not sure where the episode's going at that point. And, well, then we got Courtney, who just doesn't do much of anything. She took the psychic paper, so the doctor had to bluff his way out of the thing, and she killed a space germ with Windex.
And then she proceeded to scream and yell how she wanted to go home.
And she reacted rather, a bit realistically, I suppose. If you really took a 15-year-old kid to the moon with scary space spiders, she'd scream and yell and say, okay, I the hell with this, I want to go back.
No, you know what really ticks me off about Courtney Woods? I'm sure that this actress is probably way better than any other child actress that could be out there. But the way she was like, I want to go home, miss. I want to go home. Can I go home, miss? Can I go home? That just annoyed me because it did not sound like she wanted to go home. It sounded like she was reading lines. That's what it sounded like.
Well, would you say that she's still better than Artie and Annie or whatever from Nightmare on Silver?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but
But
That's
hey,
weird.
at least Artie and Annie had a point. They were there to be, kidnapped bait.
Yeah.
Courtney did nothing.
Not really, no. She posted on Tumblr.
That was pretty funny how...
I like that. I like that line. No, don't post on Tumblr!
You can't put me on the internet!
My gran used to put things on Tumblr. Okay, that's a good line.
No, I think she put him on Twitter. Didn't he?
I know the 11th Doctor name dropped Twitter at some point.
Well, she put the Doctor on some sort of social media, so...
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
Something else that kind of bugged me is that in the beginning of the episode, they find this space station that apparently belonged to a Mexican colony. It's like... And then all of a sudden, they're just like, oh, the Mexicans. Just say the people who were there.
Also, something pointed out, there's, like, cacti in the background.
There's, like, cacti, and there's, like, rainbow ponchos, or whatever they call those blanket vests.
You're just one step removed from having Courtney, instead of spraying Windex on the space germ, beating them to death with a piñata.
No, let's beat them to death with a burrito. I mean, God.
Jeez. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess that's a European writer for you. He just went with a stock.
I don't know. It just seems weird that they wouldn't just stop saying the Mexicans and would instead say, like the people who were here.
So this whole moon egg thing is kind of screwing up the Earth, according to Lundvik.
Yep. Tides and satellites falling out of orbit and being destroyed.
30 years of fire, darkness, rain, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Events of biblical proportions. I will say something I noticed is that when Courtney is... I think they're walking on the space station. She lifts up her phone and starts looking for a signal. And if you're paying attention, you will think that that's actually a really nice way to show that the satellites are out without them having to say it. So she could just be like, I can't get a signel. And that's like cute. That would have been a nice little thing, but then they go on and explain it anyways.
Would you really get a cell signal on the moon though?
Maybe. I guess
like
it depends.
300,000 miles away from Earth.
To be fair though, the Doctor could have enhanced it like he's done cell phones before.
Okay, you got me there. That's good. But if he enhanced it, then it really wouldn't need to pick up signals from Earth, now would it? Because Rose's phone could call back in time, and there certainly weren't no cell satellites when the Earth was burning to death.
Although I will say this letter doesn't make sense because Clara has to call Courtney, and she says she doesn't know her number, and that's apparently the only reason she can't call her. So that kind of puts a wrench in it. It puts a spanner in the works.
A spanner.
Seriously, spanner? What?
That's
British people. British people are weird.
Very odd. I mean, they call elevators lifts. What is that?
Well, that makes sense because it lifts you, but what the heck does a spanner do? Span?
What's a lorry? I mean, goodness. And what we call chips, they call crisps. And what they call chips, we call fries. What?
And what we call pants, they call trousers, and what they call pants, we call underwear.
And right now, Brainiac is probably seething as he has to edit this thing. Just seething and sniffling.
I know, that's why I did this.
Oh, we're assholes.
We are such assholes. Anyways, back to the stuff, the episode.
Okay. So I guess we gotta get to that second half unless there's other stuff we want to bring up.
Not that I can think of. I mean, we're at the point where they find out that the moon is cracking.
Yep. Moon is an egg. It's cracking. It's causing moonquakes and all this stuff. So
and causing bad stuff to happen to the Earth.
At this point, the expectations are kind of high with the whole Lovecraftian thing. It could be something catching. But then, of course, Lundvik asks, "How do we kill it?"
And everybody else is shocked and horrified.
At that point, it kind of seems like we're going into Beast Below territory again. because there we've got this big dilemma, of course. We can either blow up the moon and save the world but kill this innocent little creature inside, or not blow up the moon and bad things will happen. So, as Rainiac's notes say, it's basically the star whale problem from Beast Below, handled a bit better. But, well then...
No, I think the Beast Below was handled better.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to why once we talk about it.
Okay, we'll get to why. So, yeah, okay, so at this point, we pretty much know what's going to happen, right? I mean, the doctor's just going to say, no, you can't do that. We have to find another way. Save the thing.
And then he leaves.
Then he just goes right away. It's like, I'm not going to make no choice. This ain't my planet. See ya.
You do it. Bye. And then he just leaves Clara there with Courtney and Lundvik and says, you figure this shit out. Bye.
Oh my god.
And then he ollies out.
He just ollies right the hell out. My god.
Doesn't even give them a hint, and he doesn't, give them advice. He just says, okay, bye.
Yeah. It's time to take the training wheels off your bike. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, that was kind of mean for Clara.
Well, we'll get to the repercussions of that, for sure.
Yeah.
So, that leaves Clara, Courtney, and Lundvik to decide whether or not to blow up the moon. Oh, I'm sorry. Kill the moon. And, yeah, I'm sure you're happy, unlike Time Heist. The doctor actually name-dropped the title in this one.
Yay.
There you go.
Seriously, that bit in Time Heist so ticked me off. You don't even know.
Time travel, well, I do kind of know because I was there.
But yes, apparently Houston is actually able to somehow reconnect with the moon in, the biggest coincidence ever, which may or may not be because of the doctor. We don't know. They didn't hint at it. But it was way too coincidental for it to not be.
And that leads into the whole thing I saw at the beginning, impossible decision. And then everyone gets to vote on whether or not to kill the thing by turning off their lights. Which, if
they turn off their lights, kill it. If they leave them on, leave it alone.
Which, that does raise a couple of questions that people have done. Like, for one thing, what about the side of the Earth that you can't see from the moon? They don't get no vote, I guess.
Yeah, and also, what if there's a handful of people who are like, no, we want to leave it alive? You're going to have these tiny little lights that they won't be able to see at all.
Also, I mean, it don't matter much if the average Joe family in New York decides, hey, we're going to let the thing live. If the people in charge, like the government, call the power company and say, there's no way we're leaving this thing alive, shut off the power in New York. All the power goes, and Clara and Co. won't know any wiser.
While difficult, you can indeed shut off all the power to a single place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess. I don't know. If the government wanted that to happen in order to save the Earth, they would find a way to do that.
Although, really, we do have to take into account that this is a place where a huge disaster hits, so they might not have much of a government left, for all we know.
That's true. We don't really know the state of Earth in 2049, other than Lundvik saying it's all gone to hell.
Yeah, but I could totally see some asshole politician be like, alright, shut it off, boys.
Exactly. So, we don't know what decisions were made on Earth. All we know is that, from what Clara and Courtney can see, all the lights go out.
The people of Earth decided to kill, as they put it, a little innocent baby.
Yeah. I do like the doctor's lines in there when he's describing what happens if they do blow it up. It's just like, oh yeah, sure, you could totally kill the innocent baby in the egg, and then you would have a massive corpse orbiting the Earth. But yeah, whatever.
Well, no, I don't think there would be a massive corpse, because I'm pretty sure that an explosion that size, that close, would probably vaporize it.
Yeah, the science in this one is, if you're trying to figure out the logistics, you're gonna have a headache.
I had a headache during the entire episode anyway, so...
Oh.
Literally, I woke up that morning with a headache, and it never left.
Oh, that wasn't related to the quality of the episode.
No, that wasn't related at all, but I still had a headache.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, God.
But yes, they had an hour and a half.
We should also mention, I forgot to mention, that one of the signs you know that things are wrong is that the moon has normal Earth gravity instead of floatiness.
Yep.
Because the mass of the moon has increased, and that's what's causing the tides to go up and all that stuff, because this creature inside is growing, I guess.
Although why it would only choose now to start growing, I don't know, when it should have been, growing over time.
Yeah, I mean, the Doctor says the moon's been there for about 100 million years, which I don't know if that's how long the moon's been there, but it should be more of a gradual thing, because, I mean, here we are in the Doctor Who universe in 2014, and we're having no bad tide stuff, so in the next 35 years, this thing is going to super grow?
Apparently.
Well, it's Doctor Who. So we come back to the moral quandary of the episode, I guess, where, no, you can't kill the thing, it's bad.
It's like during this whole time, the captain is, arming the nuclear missiles, getting ready to kill them all.
She's ready. I mean, she's that's what she came up here to do. She's ready to blow them all up.
And Earth is like, okay, blow it up. Screw you guys.
And at the last second, Clara and Courtney decide no. Well, Clara pushes the no button first, but I guess does Courtney
making Courtney useless? But yes, Courtney does touch the button.
Okay, she tried. You tried.
The thing that gets me, though, if you look closely, they hit the green button that's on top rather than the red button. And to me, I don't know if it's like a Brit thing, but green means go.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
Why wouldn't they hit the red button?
Eh.
I don't know.
Well, either way, they do abort the launch.
And then immediately the Doctor is there telling them, come on, let's go see what you guys did.
Yeah. Brainiac thinks that it might have worked better to have the Doctor be the one to jump in and stop the countdown. Like, let's say they decide to blow it up, and then he pops up and he just, presses the button and says, no.
Well, I think that would have made Clara's character a little bit worse. Just because of the fact that she was not willing to stop it. This is why I think Beast Below is better, because this means that the Doctor has to have this huge moral quandary. Does he save millions of people who pretty much have done nothing wrong? It was their officials who, captured and enslaved the Beast. Or does he let all these people die and let the whale go? And in this case, he had the exact same thing. Even though, honestly, he knew kind of what was going to happen, which we find out later. He knew that there was no way that this creature was going to let anything bad happen to these people when it hatched. So he had pretty much the same quandary here, where he had to be like, oh, do I kill this thing, or do I let it live?
Rannick also thinks that the Doctor stopping the countdown and popping at the last second and making the choice anyway, that would have justified the scene at the end, which we'll get to, with Clara.
Yeah, probably would have done that a little better, but I think this could have been handled way
better.
But
I think the scene at the end was good the way it was, but yeah, we're going to get to it. Okay, so, what else we got?
Yeah, the Doctor leaving them to have them make their own decision kind of is where everything started to go downhill for me. It's like that, I get that we're having a much, more serious, kind of meaner Doctor here, but that's too far. Because they were not going to just blow up the moon and the creature inside. They were going to die too.
That's not what you do.
Yeah, you don't do that. This is exactly like how he left her in the first episode.
And then we get the resolution, and what happens, the consequences of them choosing to not blow up the moon. Which is...
Dragon.
A space dragon hatches out of the moon, and then immediately lays another egg the exact size of the moon, and nothing bad happens at all.
And apparently this, triggers humanity's interest in the stars again, so they spread out across the universe, and that's how they get to, the end of time and all that rot.
Some people have said that contradicts Adelaide Brooke from The Waters of Mars, and that she was the one who inspired people to go to space because of the whole Dalek thing with Stolen Earth and Journey's End, but, well, considering that Doctor Who's already said that sort of event fell into the cracks in Moffat's first season, I'm okay with that being contradicted, and there having to be a new reason for humanity to want to go to space because of a giant space dragon that they almost killed.
I don't know, if I saw a giant space dragon come out of the moon and then fly away after leaving another moon, I would not want to go to space. I'd be like, space is... No!
What the heck?
There are space dragons up there.
There's also been a lot of complaint about how the space dragon immediately laying an egg the size of the egg it hatched out of.
That was me. Because if you look closely at this thing, it is skinny. It is small. While it is still, technically moon-sized. It could have fit inside the moon. That I perfectly understand. But even if we take into fact the idea of alien biology, there is no way something that skinny laid something that big in that short of a time.
Exactly. Well, really, the whole thing with that, it sparked a big debate over on Something Awful, but it all comes down to a sort of thing. Like, okay, the undeniable truth is that the whole moon egg thing is kind of silly. But you either fall into two camps. You either fall into your camp, which is like, this moon egg thing is silly and it takes me away out of the episode. Or you take my perspective, which is like, that moon egg thing is silly, but I can hand wave it enough that I can just focus on the good parts.
I unfortunately, I just can't hand wave it because I know how eggs are, laid in the real world, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
So I
you
perfectly...
know science.
I know somewhat of science. So I perfectly understand, the idea of also this being an alien being. We don't know its biology. We don't even know what it is. We just know it's a space dragon. It could do whatever the hell it wants. But it's just something about the way it is, the biology does not make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's like, I could possibly ignore that, but you can obviously tell it's just the moon. It doesn't look any different. It's not changed at all.
Maybe it's closer to us, but smaller this time. Maybe it's farther away. Maybe it expands with a gravity well or something. I don't know.
No Maybe
idea.
if the doctor had said something about, like in a few years it'll harden up and it'll become the rocky moon that you knew once again, I would understand that.
All I need is a little tiny explanation, but the writer just he doesn't really give it that.
Because that's how chickens have eggs. The eggs come out, they're not solid. They're kind of almost liquidy. That's why eggs have that point on them.
Ah.
And so later on they develop the shell. And it's like, if that is what the creature did, I would understand that.
There you go.
It'd be weird because it's still a giant moon, but it makes sense.
All I needed was a line or two, literally, just a line. All you need is a little tiny explanation. Some sort of hand wave in the script
they
itself.
could have just showed it making the egg. Like, maybe it doesn't actually lay the egg. Maybe it brings stuff together to make an egg.
Or creates a wormhole to another
Maybe it's
dimension.
like salmon, where it just sprays stuff on the eggs and then they're fertilized. I don't know.
Nobody knows, because,
Just
well, the
something other than what we got.
The script writer didn't care to explain it, so that leaves us to either say, that makes no sense, or say, that makes no sense, I wonder how it could make sense, and then try to think of a way.
See, this is why I need to become a writer for Moffat, or like an editor or something, so then I could go in there and smack him upside the head and be like, no!
This is not how you write a thing! Well, yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of on the writer, Peter Harness, for coming up with that, but it's also on Moffat for not looking at that and saying, look, Pete, this moon egg thing, you're gonna have to write an explanation for this.
That doesn't make sense.
Now, if you excuse me, I need to go back to these monsters. I need to go back to writing these monsters who can only get you when you're aware that you're manually breathing.
Now, excuse me, I need to go and start writing Sherlock because it's been years and I haven't put out the new season yet.
It's been years. It's only been 9 months.
That's nearly a year. I know there are people complaining about it taking so long.
Yeah, I know. Well, we had to wait 2 years for season 3, so I can wait a year.
We had to wait several between the classic and this new series, so...
Yeah, well, I wasn't even into the classic series back then. I got into the new stuff, so...
I don't even think
But yeah, for anyone who lived that, I am so sorry that you had to wait through 16 years of mediocre novels and the Paul McGann movie, and God knows what else.
Oh God, I saw the Paul McGann movie, don't.
I own the Paul McGann movie!
Why?
Because it has commentary by McCoy McGann, because, well, Paul McGann in the movie, not very good. Paul McGann in the audios, very good.
Paul McGann in that episode where it's, what is it, Night of the Doctor?
Oh, yes.
That was pretty cool.
I marked out at that. Oh, God. We really went off topic here.
Yeah.
We should talk about the absolute best scene in the episode, for me, in my opinion. In fact, I would go so far as to say, best scene of this series.
The best scene of Clara, because she is amazing in it.
Best scene of Clara. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Clara's confrontation with the Doctor.
About him leaving her.
Yep, and, Raniak says that there's lots of great dialogue in the episode, but then Clara demands an explanation. His favorite line is, "I'll slap you so hard you will generate." It's great.
Which is actually pretty great because she's still herself, but she is ticked off. She is scared, she is ticked, and she just is done with the Doctor.
Yeah, so Raniak thinks that deep breath, in the same way that deep breath is going to be remembered for the restaurant confrontation, Kill the Moon will probably be remembered best for Clara's explosion on the Doctor.
I will say, though, having this episode where Clara is pushed too far, right after Danny warns her, he's going to push you too far, that's a little too soon. You should have stretched that out.
That's exactly what Raniak has down here.
Yeah, they did that a little too soon.
Pacing, Moffat, pacing, is what he says. Okay, yeah.
Well, this is also the guy who had, the first 2-3 episodes have the Promised Land stuff in it, so...
Oh, yeah. No Missy in this episode, either!
Yay! And not even a mention of Promised Land and no robots, and it's like, yay!
Oh, thank God, but yeah, okay, so that's even better, but, if I can talk about this scene, it is just beautiful. Gianna Coleman sells it. And the anger is righteous, she's crying, she's scared. Friends don't do that to each other. She could have made the wrong choice and killed everyone. And she thinks it's cheap and patronizing, really. It's the Doctor saying to Humanity, "Oh, look at you. You're big enough to make your own choices. Good girl."
Yeah, and during that time when the Doctor was leaving, he was being very condescending towards her, saying, I'm not from Earth. Earth has nothing to do with me. So, in this scene, she points out, yes, Earth does have something to do with you. It's your planet, even though you keep saying it's not. You're here, you spend time with us, you take us on journeys. You are part of Earth, it's your decision too.
Yeah. You breathe our, as she said, I'm paraphrasing here, you breathe our air, you walk our Earth, you make friends with us, it's your damn moon too.
Yeah, and this brings me back to why I think Beast Below is better, because in Beast Below, the Doctor is having a really hard time. Because he loves humans despite their faults. He loves the space whale because it is one of the last of its kind. And he has a serious dilemma there.
He has an actual moral stake in it, as opposed to the Doctor, who's just like, you do it.
Yeah, here the Doctor just doesn't care. And it's like, he knows deep down that if they choose to destroy this creature, it's the wrong choice.
He knows that, and yet he leaves them to do it. He leaves Clara in this position. He is just a shitty friend.
He really is. He is shitty, and he's manipulative, and he is just horrible in this bit, and that really, really annoys me.
I know it annoys you, but it's balanced for me by the fact that Clara gets just that amazing call-out to him. Yeah,
Clara freaking out on him, that was great. That was brilliant.
It's justified. And it's
justified. She is great when she, acts it out. The Doctor's reaction is great. The fact that they had to do it, though, does not appeal to me. It's the simple fact that they had to do this at all. When the Doctor should not have done that to her.
I understand. You didn't want it to happen in the first place. As fantastic as it is, yeah.
If it happened later on and they had established more that this Doctor is not a good person, because in this scene he is not a good person. If they had established that more, I would have been more interested and more invested in this. But as it is, it's a great scene, great acting, but it just doesn't feel right.
I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, well, in the context of the episode, it is absolutely deserved and justified, and I do love the performance, but I definitely do see where you're coming from in that you'd rather not have have to exist in the first place?
Well, if it exists, I would rather it be further along the line. But the fact that it exists here and now, it does not work. It really does not work.
It's about the middle of the season right now, so.
I would have preferred it be near the end of the season, like her big freak out on him be at the end of the season. Not this episode in particular.
More like episode 11. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I would just rather it be, like near the end where she freaks out on him. Because he pushed her too far. But instead they have it directly after that episode.
We're not really sure where it's going to go from here. I mean, well, we've got the scene with Danny at the end where he says that she's not done with the doctor because she's still angry, and you're never finished with someone when you're still angry.
Yeah, he has obviously been through this before, and he knows what she is currently feeling right now. So he gives her the advice of, you're angry right now, you're really ticked off at him, you need to cool down, and then you need to talk to him.
There you go. And I'm sure that'll happen at some point.
And also,
I don't think Clara's done yet.
More great Danny Pink. I am really loving him so far.
Okay, he wasn't in this one very much, but he was very supportive of Clara after her freak out. He calmed her down. He helped her unwind.
He thinks, which, I hate to say this, but most soldiers in Doctor Who, they tend to be the trigger-happy kind. The kind who are just like, let's kill it, or let's bring it back for study. And it's
like
really
Ludwig.
nice. Yeah, it's really nice to see a soldier who's just like, okay, calm down. Let's think this through.
Yeah. He's an ex-soldier, I guess, so that, I suppose that...
Yes, because of this really bad day that happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's Kill the Moon. Overall, Rainiac said he enjoyed it, although head enjoyment sort of fell back on the second watch. Much like most of the series, the acting's stellar, but the writing doesn't really match it, but it's not bad for a first-time writer. And I thought, well... It was okay. I mean, I did like how it kept shifting. I did like it when it was Hinchcliffe horror. I did like the brief flirtation that it had where it was maybe going to be Lovecraftian horror. I was okay with it being a moral quandary, but then the Doctor left and that was just shocking. And I was totally sold on Jenna Coleman's performance at the end. And that really elevates the entire episode for me. I think it's a mediocre episode with an amazing ending. Let's say that.
Yeah, I have to say, I really do agree that the acting is excellent from all characters around, except Courtney, because I hate her. She's horrible.
I don't know if she'll be back much. We'll see.
But overall, the beginning of the episode was really nice. I liked, the horror aspect. I liked the tenseness. And then they did nothing with the spiders. There's parts of the Space Dragon that don't make sense. And then the ending is just, it's mean, it's cruel, it's horrible. Great acting, great scene. But it's horrible. So I like the first part of it, the second half, I just can't stand.
Oh well. Anyway, next week, we've got Mummy on the Orient Express.
Which apparently is going to be a murder mystery train. Judging by the trailers.
Oh, this okay, I know that the Kill the Moon trailer fooled me. It made it look like it was going to be horror, but it actually became moral dilemma. Mixed with the Doctor's horrible. This just looks like a fun, stupid romp in space, kind of like Robots of Sherwood.
I hope it is. I really hope they don't take it seriously, because,
they might go serious with the Doctor being a little mopey after Clara, but I hope not.
That would be understandable, but if they try to make us take a mummy seriously, I would be just like, no, honey, no.
Yeah, that, not really. It's just a bit of goofy fun, spooky, have some people die and go, ah!
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that, especially after, technically, the 12th Doctor losing Clara for now.
That's true. Hopefully he's not too mopey about it, like, say, Tennant in something like Voyage of the Damned, or not alone. But we'll see. So, this has been Doctor Who Review, Kill the Moon, with FreezingInferno and Kat.
Yep.
See you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.